$2,175 gold. On a day like today, when we have gold pushing up to $2,000 in the futures market, that doesn't seem too far out of the question. And that's just what our friends at JP Morgan are telling us to expect out of the gold price for next year. What do you think that means for the silver price? But we've got a lot more to talk about. Major updates from the war in the Middle East and Israel. Jerome Powell, Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve hold more sway over thank you for the super chat, my friend, over the price of silver and gold than anything else. And we got some big news and some big keen insights that we need to talk about regarding our good friend Jerome Powell, who never lies to us. He always tells us the absolute truth. We're going to dig into that as well. The 10-year bond is pushing up to 5%. Guys, this is a huge, huge, big deal that will have major ramifications. But why is that actually right now a good thing for the silver price and the gold price? And of course, JP Morgan is trying to scare everybody, but at the same time, they're making bold predictions for the price of gold, and we know what that means for silver for next year as well. So this morning, what is going on in the precious metals markets? We don't like to do this on the back of horrific war that is going on throughout the world. And don't forget, guys, it's not just going on in Israel. It's also still going on in Europe. Full-blown war in Europe. But we got some big updates overnight. Apparently, there were drone attacks on U.S. bases in both Iraq and Syria. Yes, they're attacking U.S. bases. We know we have two large battleships, carriers in the area, right? I mean, are things escalating? They appear to be escalating. It feels like, to me, something big is going to happen this weekend. Look, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just kind of sharing with you my gut feelings. But what else is going on? Because as the situation worsens, right, this is getting bigger and bigger. We have Russia has said that it's moving military assets to their bases in Syria. Russia, okay, we're already fighting Russia in Ukraine, in Europe right now. Also, we get this news. Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered fighter jets with hypersonic missiles to patrol the Black Sea in response to all the chaos in the Middle East. It does feel like this situation is escalating. What scares me a little bit is, gold's ability to tell the future. And while I like to see the price of gold and silver go up, no doubt about it, what it's telling me right now, and I don't know how you feel about this, but that things are getting worse in that area. And again, gold and silver can do very well on their own, just based on the economic fundamentals, the money fundamentals in the world. We hate to see this on the back of violence and war. I'm sorry, that's the way I feel. According to a geopolitical analyst, Jason Brodsky, listen to this. This means that Iranian-backed resistance movements are achieving, quote-unquote, unification of the fronts. First Gaza, then skirmishes with Hezbollah, Iraq, Syria, and now Yemen. So we need to stay abreast of what is going on with this situation. There's nothing funny about it, right? I love humor. I love to laugh, but it is a scary situation that is developing and seems to be growing and escalating. I unfortunately feel like this weekend we could see some more major actions taken over in that area. Now, when it comes to the gold price and silver price, be prepared, okay? If something does happen, again, it's that old buy the rumor, sell the news. Gold looks out. Gold discounts what will happen in the future. If something does start to happen and things do calm down, be prepared for a pullback in gold in particular. Gold has really gone on a rocket ship ride for like the last week, basically, that we could see a quick pullback. I don't like to talk about that. I know that's not our favorite subject, but if it meant peace in the world, I'd be cool with it because, like I said, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think gold and silver have enough positive, supportive factors, attributes, enough wind that is beginning to blow in their sails that we really don't need or want to see the price doing well based on the fact that there's suffering and war going on in the world. But be prepared, okay? This happened when Russia first invaded Ukraine. The price of gold shot up, and then it pulled back once things, can't really say stabilized, but unfortunately became the new normalish that we have in that area. Just keep an eye on what's going on out there. Hopefully we don't see a major escalation in the violence that's going on right now in the Middle East, because we do have it going on in the Ukraine as well. I was talking with Peter Grandich yesterday, right? He's the Wizard of Wall Street. What a great guy. We were talking about how, like, if I could go back in time to like the late 1980s when we had the the big market crash, the day the S&P and the Dow dropped like 22%, and tell him what was going on today, talk about the level of debt that our country had, talk about the fact that we have a war in Europe, we have war like probably the scariest that I ever remember in the Middle East. Right? We have Russia and China. You know, we got some, I'm going to tell you a little bit later about the recent news regarding Russia and China cooperating. This whole world is, there's a lot of conflict, bifurcation going on in the entire world right now, like we've never seen before. But, you know, he's like, yeah, he said, I didn't even know what a trillion was back in the 1980s, right? I mean, now we just have trillions of dollars, $100 billion in aid. Like, it's nothing. Guys, it is not a good situation on a geopolitical level in the world, nor on a financial, fiscal, or monetary basis either, right? And maybe that explains. Let's talk about the Fed, because yesterday we got some very favorable news for silver and gold. And I'm not going to toot my own horn because I'm wrong all the time, but I did say yesterday morning that I thought that yesterday would be a good day for silver and gold because Jerome Powell was delivering a speech in New York. And I just had a feeling that with everything going on in the world and with the fact that the reality, and he knows the reality, the U.S. economy is struggling right now, is contracting right now, that it's going to be time for them to start the early, what do they do before they pivot? They pre-pivot to start the pre-pivot. And I think likely that's what we got yesterday. And we also have some news we're going to talk about from Fed Governor Bostic as well that also points towards the potential for more dovish policy, a pivot from the Fed. And when all the other people, you're a basement dweller. And thank you for the thumbs up. We got 100 thumbs up. I will ring the bell in just 1 second, okay? But when we get that official pivot, when that officially occurs, be prepared and think about where the gold price is today. Before I came on, it was at $2,000. Silver at $23. Let me go ring the bell. I'll come right back, and we're going to talk about why pivot and high rates right now could be just the unbelievable setup for the silver price and the gold price. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Uh-oh! You saw my legs! Am I still fuzzy? Oh my God, why am I fuzzy? I don't like this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe 370 people are hanging with me when I'm fuzzy. Let me just check the lens to make sure that's not the problem. Hold on, don't leave. I'm gonna really fuzzy. I'm still here, don't leave me. Ah, wait a minute. No, I didn't fix it. I don't know what the heck is going on. All right, well, anyway. Sorry for the fuzziness, my friends. We're sitting pretty with the silver price and gold price right now. We're sitting very, very pretty. $2,000 gold, $23 silver. We've got a Fed that's scared to death, okay? I'm going to read you a couple things here that Jerome Powell said yesterday. And we've got interest rates at a super high level right now, 5% on the 10-year bond, okay? Guys, the exciting part for the silver price and gold price is the most likely path forward for the Fed is going to be lowering rates. And that's going to be rocket fuel, further rocket fuel for the silver price and gold price. We're just sitting in a Goldilocks. You know, they say that about the market, a Goldilocks environment. We are definitely right now sitting in a Goldilocks environment for silver and gold. Let me read this to you from Yahoo Finance. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell signaled the central bank could hold rates steady at its next policy meeting. But he also warned, of course, that inflation was still too high and that more interest rate increases are still possible if the economy stays surprisingly hot. He said, quote, additional evidence of persistently above trend growth or the tightness in the labor market is no longer easing could put further progress on inflation at risk and could warrant further tightening of monetary policy. So, of course, Jerome's scared, but he has to throw out there, but we could raise rates more. We could. Don't you think, remember, we've covered this many times, and it's critical for us to understand, okay? The Fed has shot all their ammunition. They've shot all their bullets. They had 6 bullets, 8 bullets, however many interest rate hikes they did, 10 bullets, right? They had a 10-shooter. Boom, 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 boom. There's no more real bullets for the Fed. Now, all they can do, instead of shooting real bullets, is say, boom, 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 like little kids do when they're playing, whatever they're playing with their guns. Boom, boom. That's all they have left, okay? He stressed that given the uncertainties and risk, how far we have come, the committee is proceeding carefully. They're telegraphing to us, I believe, that they're done raising rates. I think they're done. I think they're done. I don't think most people realize or recognize that yet. I could be dead wrong. Don't make any financial decisions based upon what I'm saying. However, I believe the Fed is done. Okay? And right now they're scared and all they can do is talk. Okay? But we did hear from Fed President Bostic just recently, after Powell spoke, that he basically said that they could lower rates. Now they've got a Fed governor talking about lowering rates in 2024. Right? Guys, the macro condition, you as a silver and gold investor, a platinum investor, have been sailing into the wind, right? Trying to sail a sailboat directly into the wind for the last couple years. Those winds are in the process of shifting. They haven't shifted completely yet, okay? But as more and more people, just the general investment community, begins to wake up to what's going on many levels right now. Thank you, Shadow Work, for giving Buzzy Ron that super chat. It's much appreciated. We're gonna see more and more support for the precious metals. It's coming and it'll happen. Now, another interesting point, a little side note, but something that we talk about all the time is the fact that Powell also talked about the fact that the national debt is unsustainable. We haven't heard that. So we're hearing more and more people wake up to this fact that the national debt problem that we have right now, that it's unsustainable as well. Okay. The 10-year bond yield. I was in shock last night. What do you think it means when the 10-year bond yield crosses 5%? I don't know that it officially did yet, but last night it was like 4.988%. Guys, that's a huge deal. That is killing the economy, right? Everybody's talking about it, especially as we head into this fourth quarter. As we go into 2024, the economy is going to be, banks are going to be in big, big trouble, right? As they're faced to recognize that money they've loaned on commercial real estate, the value of their bond portfolios, right? Their unrealized losses continue to grow. But on an economic level, don't forget the United States is a consumer-based economy, right? What's happening to the consumer? The consumer in the United States, the reality is, right, they live on borrowed time. They live on credit cards. They live on debt. They are tapped out. The credit is being restricted. And at the same time, we have record levels of credit card debt, and we have record high rates on that credit card debt. The consumer is tapped out. Corporations are going to be forced now, starting next year, to refinance more and more debt at higher and higher rates. It's going to squeeze profits. What's the net of all of that? The bottom line is eventually all these different asset classes, real estate, okay, bonds, the stock market, everything becomes less attractive. Good morning, Craig. Good morning, Buttercup. Fuzzy Ron coming at you live from the fuzzy basement. Maybe the bear doesn't look so fuzzy right now to everybody, but we're in for a very interesting period of time as there's just less and less money out there, and gold and silver will, sure, there'll be some other things that people will look at. But guys, when real estate doesn't look attractive, residential, commercial, when bonds don't look attractive, right? When the stock market doesn't look attractive because companies are paying more in interest expense, people have less money to spend on goods and services, there's going to be fewer and fewer things that look attractive. All of that within the context that we have, I don't like to say this, but I'm not going to say World War III, but we have the world at war. We have geopolitical, all of this is happening within this bigger picture, bigger context of geopolitical turmoil, uncertainty like we've never seen before. And that other half of the world, don't forget, that other half of the world that isn't so fond of the United States, I'm just stating the facts. I don't like it. You didn't cause it. I didn't cause it. But they aren't running to U.S. treasuries. They aren't running to the U.S. dollar as a safe haven bet. They're running to things like silver and gold. Maybe that explains why we've seen such an explosion in the silver and gold price just in the last few weeks, right? I mean, again, we don't want this to happen on the back of horrific circumstances that are unfolding throughout the world, but we got to pull our head out of the sand, and we need to recognize what's going on. And from a safe haven perspective, those of you that own physical silver, those of you that own physical gold, the mining stocks haven't done much, which makes me a little concerned, right? The mining stocks have yet to really react to these higher prices, probably because they're afraid that we're going to have a big pullback. But nonetheless, within all of that context, that's why we own precious metals. That's why you own silver. That's why you own gold. JP Morgan is scaring everyone. And then at the same time, recommending real assets and putting out, I'm going to read you quarter by quarter next year. JP Morgan, they control the precious metals markets, right? They have the specific numbers that gold is going to hit next year. We're going to talk about that. But first, let me tell you what Jamie Dimon said just a few days ago. This is general doom. And this is from JP Morgan. This is from their CEO, right? This is which a lot of people say is like an official arm of the U.S. government. Jamie said, "My caution. Hey, am I back? I'm back. I'm not fuzzy anymore. Am I not fuzzy? I'm not fuzzy. Hey, everybody. It's me. I'm not fuzzy. I've never been so happy in my life." I'm sitting here in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, why am I fuzzy? I don't need this. You know how life is. I'm back. Well, now I can tell you. Whoa, there it is. Thanks to our sponsor, First Mining Gold, and thanks to our sponsor, Pimbex. All right, if you want to get some silver and gold while you still can, you can buy it and hold it in your hands from Pimbex, Pimbex. That's where I buy my precious metals. Check them out for yourself, right? Trustworthiness is key. Quality is key, but so is price. And I'll tell you one thing about Pimbex that I like, and I always check. All right, and Coin Shop Chris will tell you the same thing. But you can pretty much bet that their price is going to be the best. And you could spend days comparison shopping and trying to research companies. You want somebody that's trustworthy with the best prices, do your own research like I did, but I think Pembex is best. And if you want to get some gold in the ground, right? What's the next best thing to holding silver or gold in your hand? Well, it would be if it's buried in the ground. And First Mining Gold has 5 million ounce gold projects, development projects in Canada. In total, the company has 13 million ounces of gold, all in Canada, headed by a great management team, a company founded by Keith Neumeyer, a company stock that I've owned for years. Okay, and I think right now represents an unbelievable value. Check out First Mining Gold, and you can call or talk to Paul Morris. You want to talk to a real person at a real mining company? Send Paul Morris. Come on, guys. Will you guys just at least send Paul Morris an email and say you heard about him on Ron's Basement? I told him I'm going to start a campaign called Call Paul. So Paul Morris's email's in the description of this and every video that I put out. Seriously, if you want to talk to a smart guy who's been in the gold and silver sector for decades, call Paul and talk to him. He's a wonderful person. Now, back to the non-fuzziness. Man, we almost have 200 thumbs up. You guys are awesome. Hold on here. Can we get to 200 thumbs up so I can ring the cowbell? And then we're going to talk about the JP Morgan. I'm going to spill the beans, give you the exact numbers where gold and silver will be next year. I'm going to have a drink of coffee and I'm going to ring that bell because I know we're going to get to 200. Yes. I almost had the microphone on mute. How'd that sound when I was turning the microphone off and on, people? Huh? That's the golden bell. We're ringing the golden bell. Okay, JP Morgan. JP Morgan, not that they know anything about the silver price or the gold price. Not that they've had some of their traders convicted and are going to be sentenced and put in jail because they ripped you off and me off. Not that they know anything about what the silver price or gold price will be, right? They don't know anything about that. No. Here's what they said. JP Morgan wrote in a report that they project spot gold prices to average around $1,920 per ounce in Q4 of 2023. Now, for 2024, do you want to know what to expect next year? Quarter one, $1,950 per ounce. Quarter two, $2,030 per ounce. Not $239, not $229, $230. Q3 of 2024, $2,100 per ounce. And to round it off, they're saying, and next year, because we're in Q4 right now, so 1 year from now, we're going to have an average gold price of $2,175. I hate to break it to you guys at JP Morgan, right? Let me ask you, basement dweller, how do you feel about this? I've been beating the red checkered tablecloth thing here for years saying this. Once we get to record all-time high measured in dollars in gold, well, it's off to the races. It's off to the races. It's like turbo boost. We're going from 2,100 straight to 2,600 faster than you can say lickety split. Okay. That's how we're going to get $35, $40, $45 silver as well. Now we get to 2,600 on gold. I think we could easily see $65 silver. That's still not enough to take the blindfold off the silver bear. That needs $85 silver. And don't forget the gold bear, his blindfold comes off at $2,500 gold. We're going to have a big party on that day. I will make sure you get a special invitation because we are going to be Happy Scrappy Hero Pup. Who knows that one, huh? Happy Scrappy Hero Pup. So I got a little problem I need some help. Maybe somebody out there can help me out with this problem. Wait a minute. Well, I'll talk about that in a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. All right. Anyway. I'm going to do another video here in the coming days. Some great information about the gold and silver markets. And it's astonishing when you dig in and realize throughout the world, okay, not in the United States, not in London, not in Canada, not in any of the Western G7 big whatever countries, but when you look at what's going on in the East, right, the BRICS countries in particular, with concrete, real steps that they are taking, okay, to develop their very own precious metals markets. Guys, it's happening right now. The Moscow World Standard, the Shanghai Gold Exchange, but there's more and more and more, and they are sucking the metal out of the LBMA and out of the COMEX because their markets are more based on real physical trading. Not make-believe, not unicorn fart dust. Us basement dwellers love that term. Unicorn fart dust. Yeah, that's like, futures contracts on silver, futures contracts on gold, right? SLV ETF, GLD ETF run by BlackRock. Unicorn fart dust. I'll have the CEO of BlackRock down here. No problem. Okay? Absolutely no problem. I had this joke I was going to tell you guys, and I can't remember it. My friend Gary last night at the music school told me this joke about how do you fix a pumpkin? And darn it, I can't remember the punchline. Does anybody know the punchline to that one? How do you fix a pumpkin? It's a Halloween joke. He was telling me all these the kid Halloween jokes. Anyway, if anybody knows the punchline to that one, please put it in the chat. Okay. So, Sassy, yes, definitely. The bears are, just so you guys know, when CoinShop Chris and I we're getting an RV. And it's going to be painted half silver and half gold. And we're going to be sponsored. Who knows who's going to sponsor it, but we're going to go on a road trip around the country. We'll come visit anybody who wants to have us, especially if you got a spot where we can park our RV overnight. And yes, the gold bear and the silver bear and the platinum bear are all coming with us. And we're going to be coming to your town, so be ready. And we're going to do live there's a fighter jet. I live in St. Louis, and they fly F-15s and F-18s over all the time. We're going to do live shows, and if you got a basement, I'll be happy to do it from your basement as well. Did anybody come up with that? A pumpkin patch. Darn it. Thank you. I was setting it all up, Nigel. I was going to tell you guys, my daughter dropped her pumpkin and wanted to know how to fix it, and I told her, you need a pumpkin patch. Old Gary, I'll have more Halloween jokes leading up to Halloween. I told him he's going to have to send me one a day, so I'll keep them coming. So it's continuing to be an interesting environment. Guys, the Fed is scared. Let's just review something, right? Again, we know this to be a fact. Nothing has impacted the price of the metals, been a downward force. And they haven't done that great of a job on the silver price and the gold price like the Federal Reserve's policy over the last 2 years. Let me show you something, a visual that will help you realize. Hold on 1 second. Yes, this guy. Okay, there's his unicorn, because it's all a bunch of unicorn fart dust. I know, I got to send that to somebody I promised it to. I will do that. Nobody has kept down. Do you realize that? Do you realize whatever they're saying out there is not always true? And hold on. This is crazy day. Now my dad's calling me. My dad's 83 years old and he's coming by the house. So I'm going to wrap this up quick. Look, Nothing has kept down the price of gold and silver. Don't believe the Fed. Remember, they said transitory. They said temporary inflation. They said they weren't going to start raising rates until right now. They predicted 2.5 years ago they would not raise interest rates until the end of 2023. Lie, lie, lie. And I don't have enough fingers and toes to count all the other lies, but those are the three big recent ones. Whatever they're saying, don't believe them, okay? The reality is right now, what they're saying publicly is the tip of the iceberg and probably not even true, okay? What's going on behind the scenes at the Fed, banking issues, world geopolitical issues, and a deep realization on their half, or their knowledge of knowing that the economy is in big trouble here in the United States. The only jobs that are being created are people that are delivering Big Macs to drunken 20-year-olds' houses on Fridays and Saturday nights. That's the reality, okay? The Fed is going to have to pivot, and I believe they've started that process already. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I got to go. I'm sorry about the fuzziness earlier. I'm sorry about the fact that I got to run, but my 83-year-old dad, who's number one to me, I got to go get him at the front door. Thank you, guys. Thank you to all the moderators. All right, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, man. Okay, it does. It means a lot. Basement dwellers, we stick together. See you later.